Military planes rely heavily on their internal radar systems to lock onto and track a hostile aircraft. They must locate targets under intense interference and dense jammer conditions. Search and tracking are the two modes that are commonly available on aircraft radars. When the radar is in search mode, it moves a radio beam in a manner similar to a zigzag across the sky. An indicator is provided on the radar display whenever the radio beam is reflected by an aircraft that is being targeted. Since the radar is simply scanning and not tracking, there is no more information that can be obtained about the radar targets. However, the Doppler shift of the radar signal may be monitored to provide an estimate of the speed of the aircraft flying towards or away from you. This is comparable to how the pitch of an incoming car's engine can provide information about the speed of the vehicle. In the track mode, the radar directs its attention and energy on a specific target. Whenever this mode is selected, the radar will attempt to follow an aircraft. When the radar signals get a reflection back, the pilot is able to learn a significant amount of additional information about the target. In surface-to-air missiles, the radar does both tracking and scanning at the same time. This enables the operator to watch a single target or a small number of important targets without losing sight of the larger picture of what the behavior of the other targets is. In track mode, the radar beam continuously sweeps over the sky, stopping for short periods at regular intervals to check in on a target that has been locked in place. It is not always necessary to get a radar lock in order to fire weapons at a target. If the aircraft has a radar lock on the target, it will be able to precisely assess the distance to the target. And it will also be able to give the pilot with the proper adjustments for lead and gravity drop. This will allow the pilot to achieve an accurate gun's kill. If there is no radar, the pilot will have to depend only on their own perceptions and decisions. Because of this, having a radar is essential to achieving success in the contemporary battlefield. India has developed active electronically scanned array radar on its own, making it one of the few countries to have an indigenous force multiplier. The Uttam, which was designed by DRDO's Electronics and Radar Development Establishment, would be installed in the Tejas Mk-1A aircraft of the Indian Air Force. The main difference between an active electronically scanned array radar and a passive electronically scanned array radar is the number of transmitters. A passive system depends on a single huge transmitter, but an ESA system has its own solid-state transmit-receive module or TRM. These modules are controlled by computers that act as both transmitters and receivers. The DRDO confirmed that the Uttam ESA radar is 95% indigenous, with just one imported component that would be replaced with indigenous alternatives. It has a search range of more than 100 kilometers and the capacity to monitor 50 objects at once. For comparison, ELTA M2052 is capable of tracking 64 targets in track while scan mode. Uttam is a radar designed for aircraft with minimal power output. It contains around 780 TRMs, and the modules have a range of 152 kilometers. Each TRM may work alone or in a hierarchy and can create and radiate its own signal of various phase and frequency as necessary, resulting in a wideband broadcast signal. The radar may be scaled up or down, depending on the size of the antenna. Uttam is capable of monitoring a target with an RCS of 2 meters square at a distance of 92 kilometers. According to the latest sources, the range of the same RCS target has been enhanced to 150 kilometers. 2 targets may be monitored in ground-moving target mode. Uttam has over 16 operating modes, and the radar may operate in several modes at the same time by changing modes pulse to pulse, providing the pilot with superior situational awareness and mission flexibility. Uttam is a low probability of intercept radar, which means it is difficult for a radar warning receiver to intercept it due to its ability to fast switch frequencies and large bandwidth. Uttam's ultra-low side lobe antenna enables it to produce razor-sharp pencil beams. Side lobe cancellation is the process of suppressing directional interference that enters the antenna via the side lobe direction by using the interference signal received by the auxiliary antenna. Auxiliary antennas are utilized to gather information about interfering signals, and the resultant signal is transferred to the remainder of the radar receiver and processor through SLC channels, where it is neutralized. With several SLC channels, Uttam can neutralize many jammers at the same time. Uttam's low side lobe level not only enhances tracking performance, but also increases resilience to jammers. Recently, the Defense Research and Development Organization has provided technology to Hindustan Aeronautics Limited for the manufacture of the indigenous Uttam radar. The development of a scaled-up version of the Uttam to equip the Su-30 MKI fighter fleet has been commenced at the initiative of the IAF's High Command. The Indian Air Force, delighted with the Uttam's development and performance, will delegate certain Su-30 MKI units for the radar's development, integration, flight testing, and certification. The development of the scaled-up Uttam variant for the Su-30 MKI is expected to take 36 to 48 months, with flight testing beginning after 24 months. Even if the same components are flying in other radar units on other aircraft, airborne testing is an extremely rigorous procedure that includes a number of checkpoints. The Uttam variant that will equip the Tejas Mk2 will be almost similar to the one developed for the Tejas Mk1A. Although indigenous X-band transmit-receive multi-modules for the same are currently in production, a full-scale prototype of the radar itself has yet to be produced. The success of this endeavor is entirely credited to DRDO. Now the responsibility for creating the Uttam radar falls on HAL. Large orders from the Indian Air Force should lead to economies of scale and a well-oiled manufacturing process that can deliver items on schedule and within budget.